you're having serious skin issues, allergic reactions to a lot of foods, and feeling trapped and feeling like there's no answer, then this video is for you. I'm going to talk to you guys about a little bit of my diet the last 10 years, what I've recently changed in the last couple months, the serious issues that I was having. I'm talking like breakouts everywhere, reactions immediately after eating. So for those of you who maybe have like psoriasis, autoimmune issues, this video is going to be for you. I'm not specifically going to quote any science. I'm going to speak anecdotally from my experience, give you a quick history, give you the breakdown of what happened when I started having issues, and then we'll move forward into where I'm at now and how I got into remission and pretty much almost 100% healed at this point in September of 2024, okay? So let's go back, right? I'm somebody who has been relatively healthy my whole life, 10% body fat or less, professional athlete, right? Ex-professional athlete, played overseas, basketball. At age 28, I got into real estate after coming back from being overseas. I've been in real estate for 11 years now from a professional standpoint. And around, I would say, my mid to late 20s, I really started to take my health seriously, especially transitioning into getting out of being a professional athlete. I did obviously follow a pretty strict diet when I was with my teams because we were basically forced to do it. However, I became more of a health nut after that and decided to kind of dive into the space myself, do my own investigations and studies, my own experiments. So I said, hey, you know what? I want to reach for optimum health. I feel pretty good, but I know I can reach like the top of the top. So I start reading and investigating. I end up at the time around probably my early 30s. I want to say like 29, 30. I decide to go plant-based, right? I go plant-based, and then a couple years into it. And when I say plant-based, I mean not the meats, the fake meats, the soy milk and all that stuff. I'm talking just like fruits, vegetables, and nuts and grains and that kind of stuff, right? Like gluten-free, like pretty clean, right? I'm not having fucking vegan donuts and all that other shit. Like I've tried that stuff, but you know, I wasn't having that. Like 99% of the time I was clean, pretty much no drinking, no smoking, very, very clean. And I was thriving, right? I was looking to take it to the next level. I ended up coming across Dr. Sebi. I go alkaline. And man, I can tell you guys in a nutshell, for the first 8-9 years, thriving, dude. Abundant energy, super high sex drive. Felt like my hair was growing faster, right? At the time I had super long hair. Felt amazing. I felt like my skin was reacting better to the sun. Nothing but positive things to say. Sleeping like a baby, right? Just, you know, skin, flawless skin, you know what I mean? And I'm like, man, this is the shit. You know, I'm not eating meat or any of that. I'm 100% alkaline following the Dr. Sebi stuff, and I'm just doing incredible. So I want to say I moved to Miami in 2021, in May of 2021. Prior to that in California, you know, I was going to like farmers markets and that kind of stuff. I do that out here, but not as much, right? And that's going to be an important detail later because it may have caused some issues. I move here, right? Everything is good, right? I slightly tweak my diet because there's more like tropical fruits and that kind of stuff here. So I'm having more like guanabana, which is soursop, right? Burro bananas, which were a little bit more difficult for me to get in California. I did get them, but they weren't as accessible. Getting those big Florida green avocados compared to the Hass avocados, you know, just a little bit different. More papaya out here, right? Watermelon, seeded watermelon was like more in season here, and you could really find it more easily here. Again, doing well, everything is great. Started eating more fruit when I moved here for sure, and uptick the fruit, right? So up until probably middle or end of 2023, I'm thriving, dude. And I'm like, this is the shit. Then I start having issues, right? My skin starts having issues. I start noticing like I'll eat some fruit and then like I'll break out behind my neck, on my body, right? And I'm at that point, I'm so in my head saying, my diet is flawless. I felt so good. I start pointing and looking at everything except for my diet. I thought it had to be externally. Because I've had issues before where, you know, I'll try like a non-clean laundry detergent and I'll have like some allergic reaction to it on my skin, like wherever my clothes would hit. So I'm thinking it's that, or maybe something that I put on my sheets, right? So I'm fighting tooth and nail, looking at everything except for my diet, saying that has to be the issue. So I'm changing my detergents. I'm making sure that I clean my house with like non-scented chemicals. Like I went the whole nine, right? And again, long story short, because I don't want to make this like an hour-long video. Maybe I'll do specific videos later if you guys are interested, where I go over each stage. It gets to a point where like it has to be the food, because as I'm doing this, I got very attuned to fasting as well when I became plant-based. So it would be regular for me to do a 1 day, 2 day, 3 day fast, and after 2 or 3 days maybe only have tea, and then after a couple days start having food again, right? So I would do these 2, 3, 4 day fasts during this time, and every time I would do that, by like the 3rd day, I would start like excreting. I would have like weird like stool and like diarrhea, and then my symptoms would completely go away. So after like 2, 3, 4 days, I would expel whatever it was out of my system or out of my intestines, and then like almost overnight, my skin would 100% clear up, and it was really bad. Like I would break out like here, like it was horrible. Like it made me a prisoner in my own skin, like bad. I would wake up at night and like my shoulder would be on fire, and I'd be like scratching it. I would wake up every morning at like 2, 3, 4 a.m. just like in pain and like itching, and it felt literally like my shoulder was like on fire. It was crazy. I don't know what was going on, right? So that's how bad it got. And at that point, after like the 2nd time where I do the fast and I'm excreting stuff and then it goes away, it finally starts to click with me. Okay, maybe it's something that I'm eating. Maybe I've become sensitive, right? It got to the point where my skin on my right arm got like so flaky and messed up that it literally looked like almost like lizard skin kind of, and like you could literally, like it was so bad, it was embarrassing. I would always wear like long sleeves. It got to the point where I was going to the gym, even in the end of that summer, like wearing long pants and like, you know, a hoodie, because my neck and everything was just so fucked up and messed up. It was crazy. So it finally clicks, and I'm like, hey, it's got to be something I'm eating. Maybe it's the pesticides in the food, right? Like I don't know what's going on. I get my blood work from a functional medicine doctor in Atlanta, right? I probably could have found one in Miami, but I reached out to some of my friends. They recommended me, went to Atlanta. I fly out that morning. When I decided to do it, we meet, we chat, we do blood work. I come back the same day. I get my reports in 2 or 3 weeks. Turns out I'm super like red. Like if we do the colors, yellow being very mild, red being like super allergic. I'm super reactive to and get an autoimmune response from blueberries, which I'm guessing is probably not the wild blueberries. It's probably like the, you know, all the stuff that they put in the glyphosates and all that stuff, right? Whatever they spray on the crops, pesticides, right? I'm super autoimmune to that, autoimmune to gluten, which if I ever had it, it was very rare, right? So I don't think I was like ingesting that a lot. A certain type of fish, which I wasn't really having, right? Obviously. And then like sweet potato, which I was having every once in a while. But she said, I remember, she said, if you mix these things and you're already responding to something, and then you add another one that you're mild to, it could exacerbate the thing. So I think I was having sweet potato every once in a while. I was also having the blueberries. I was making smoothies in the morning, right, with the blueberries. And maybe I wasn't washing them right. I don't know. Long story short, I can't have watermelon. I can't have soursop. I can't have fruit. Like I'm literally responding to everything. And it gets to a point where I'm like, all right, like I have to change my diet. I don't want to because I was thriving on it for so long, but apparently something shifted. You know, like I'm having really bad, like almost like diarrhea type stool all the time. Something's wrong. Like I'm not having solid poops. Like there's something wrong with my body, right? So I want to say early this year, probably like January, February. I'm like, you know what? February, I think I said, you know what? I'm just going to try a different diet. I'm going to go like the opposite. I'm going to go carnivore and just have meat, and we'll start with just meat, right? I start doing it right away. Within like a week or two, my stool gets normal again, right? And I'm shocked because I had literally been thriving. You guys have no idea, like thriving on the plant-based diet. So it just blew me away that I could have just meat and be doing so good right away, right? And I noticed my skin is getting better. Now, the way I'm thinking maybe it was a digestive issue, right? So I can just temporarily do something else and then slowly reintroduce other foods again and go back to how I was eating before. Because I was like, you know what, I'll just do this and I'll go back and, you know, just only get stuff from the farmers markets or figure out a way to meet with farmers and only get fresh produce. Like I'm going to figure this out. But every time after a couple weeks, I would reintroduce, like even recently, I started eating like a date, right? Like a date, I would have one date and like maybe a little bit of mango. And then like my skin started having minor issues again, right? You know, a little bit on my neck and a little bit here like on the inside of my elbows that you guys see me rubbing during my videos because it still sometimes gets a little dry. And I'm like, man, so I gotta go back. So I would keep trying this because I wanted to go back to the old diet where I was thriving. It's crazy, right? But I find myself continuously going back. So I would only have meat, put salt on it, water, that's it. And very quickly my body started healing. I then introduced eggs, that was fine. Every once in a while I have like some raw cheese or something like that. I would have some kefir, you know. But overall, I would say right now, if I'm still in the healing process, which I am, I would say meat and eggs is the best thing. I would limit the dairy, you know, like, because if you're watching this, you're probably trying to relate to what I was saying. If you guys are interested, maybe I'll do another video where I literally post these pictures if you want to see them, because it's just kind of my testimony. I know it's anecdotal, but I can show you some pictures where, you know, I was like broken out, like it was bad. Like even now, like I'll feel like stuff is coming out of my skin. You can't really see it anymore, but it'll get like kind of dry, or it'll get a little bit of red, but it feels like my skin is burning. So it's like something is coming out. I get it a little bit here, so a little bit of dryness on the inside of my elbows too. Again, you can't really see anything, but if I look at it, I can see it, and the texture of my skin is a little bit off. So I'm like 95% healed pretty much. Got a little bit here, a little bit on this inner elbow, and sometimes I'll get a little bit like on this part of my neck, but you can't really see it, right? Because I'll tell people it's burning and they look and they literally don't see anything. So something is still there, right? So it's almost healed, but not quite. But I know I'm 100% non-reactive when I only have meat, and I can do eggs too. Like I just do hard-boiled eggs, that's it. If I have that, I'm good, right? And I'm getting better. The only thing I have is my family's from South America, and we have yerba mate, which is a tea. I have that. I don't think that causes any issues, so I've kept drinking the tea. Every once in a while though, I get off of it for 3, 4, 5 days or a week. Now, when I have it compared to when I don't have it, I don't really see a change in my skin. So I don't know if it's causing any issues. I don't think it is. But again, even just in my normal process of fasting and that kind of stuff, I'll cut off the tea or anything like that for 3, 4, 5 days a week at a time. So that was a regular part of my schedule anyway. So I never thought that that type of tea was affecting me. And like I've told you guys, I've tried to reintroduce stuff. I can do a little bit of dairy, like, you know, plain whole yogurt, raw kefir, that kind of stuff. I do it. And I can say, I don't know if that's causing any negative reactions, but I can tell you I feel the best. And I know I'm 100% healing when I just go meat or meat and eggs. So for those of you who are in the process like I am, where you're still having issues, I would recommend you try this out. Right? Even if you're like I was, super hardcore, alkaline, plant-based, whatever, just give it a shot. Because believe me, I was so convinced that the other way was the way to go that even when I was still eating that stuff and for whatever reason I was having negative reactions, which I don't know why to this day. Maybe my body became allergic to it. Maybe I didn't have fresh enough produce. I don't know. We'll never know. But try it out because you have nothing to lose. And that's literally, like, I gave in because I was literally in tears, like, man, I'm so healthy. I live a good life. I'm positive as fuck. You know what I mean? Like, I don't drink, I don't smoke. Why am I having health issues in my skin and stuff? Because it was weird. Like, I was still horny, right? Like, my sex drive is still high. I still have pretty damn good energy, but my skin is having issues. Like, this doesn't make any fucking sense. I even felt like at a time, for a little bit, I was almost starting, because I had long hair at the time, I was starting to like almost lose my hair a little bit. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, I have a super thick, full head of hair, even though I'm almost 40 now. Like, this is weird. That's when I really took the step to say, okay, like, I'm gonna try something different, because that to me is like, okay, if I'm starting to lose my hair, like that's a serious problem, right? But I would recommend that you try this, right? I'm gonna do multiple videos about this, especially if you guys are interested and you wanna hear more, you let me know. And then I'll put in pictures and go, if there's specific portions of it, like if you wanna hear about the diet, the alkaline diet that I followed or the plant-based diet, I'll give you more info. If you wanna find out about that transition and some of the stuff that I cut out immediately, some of the stuff that I was eating. If you wanna know how I slowly reintroduced dairy or other things, I can do a video on that. But I can tell you, I'm in pretty much full remission. You can't see anything. My skin is getting dark again, because for a while it was like reddish, because I think internally my body was just revolting. The blood work, you know, showed that I was allergic to blueberries, you know, sweet potato and that kind of stuff. And I was eating that, and maybe that was making the problem worse. She also did say I was low in my B vitamins. Vitamin D was good because I normally am out in the sun pretty frequently, at least for like 10, 15 minutes at a time, 20 minutes at a time. And she said my liver was good, but starting to show some issues. So maybe all the sugar from the fruit, I was eating too much fruit and it weighed on my liver. I don't know. It could still be a slight liver issue. I have no idea. I'm taking milk thistle and some other stuff to help with that, just in case it's that. But we'll see. Right? I can tell you that doing the meat-based, like carnivore diet, to my surprise, I have to say, like my digestion, my poop is solid. You know, I'm not going to the bathroom 3 or 4 times a day like I used to. Overall, I feel good. Now, I will say this. Overall, peak plant-based, alkaline, peak carnivore. Maybe I'm not peak carnivore yet, but man, I was thriving on that other one for so long. That's why I'm kind of sitting here like, man, it's weird. So for me to go from that to being a carnivore is crazy. I got to ride out the carnivore more and fully heal before I can say which one is better in just my daily life and how I was feeling. But we got to see, like I'm getting back into boxing and some high intensity stuff. When I was full plant-based alkaline, I was a lot more doing athletic stuff. Like I was boxing 2 or 3 days a week, like hard with the trainer and sometimes sparring. And I was playing basketball a couple days a week versus now that I'm in Miami, I'm not doing that stuff as much. I'm doing more calisthenics and not like running as much. I still go out and run sprints, but we'll see, you know, to talk about like lung capacity or energy levels. But I'm feeling better now. This is almost in full remission and I'm probably like 95% healed. So I feel better, but you let me know if you want to hear more details. I just would recommend, even though I'm kind of all over the place in this video, that you guys, if you're having issues like I was, try carnivore, you know, give it a shot. I do my best to only have like ground, grass-fed and grass-finished beef. Predominantly when I first started, I was having bison. I still like bison and prefer bison. I'm having fattier cuts of meat now. But I know you can overdo it on fat too, because sometimes I've had too much fat and then my stool's a little bit loose. But I haven't had like really bad issues. I haven't gotten sick since I went carnivore. But overall, I've been feeling good. The only issues I kind of been having is sometimes I feel my energy drop every once in a while, and then cramps. Maybe my body's balancing electrolytes, but sometimes for a while I was waking up in the morning getting really bad cramps. And that kind of was really annoying, but that seems to be kind of going away. So we'll see. But I'll give you guys more details. You let me know what you want to hear. I don't want to ramble on forever. That way I can, you know, break this up into multiple sections. But if you're having skin issues, I really, really recommend you try this out because it may be your saving grace. Even if you were like me, where you're on the opposite end of the spectrum and even considering doing something like carnivore, you'd be like, hell no. I finally did it, and it's one of the best decisions I've made because even though I was thriving on the plant-based, there was an issue and I had to make an adjustment. All right. Appreciate you guys watching. Leave a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, and we'll see you on the next one. Peace.